And we are live, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to the Wrestle Purist Raw Review. I'm your host, Gable of Wrestle Purist, better known to many of you guys as Backup Hangman, and I'm joined as usual by my co-host Rob, Sir Paragraph. Oh, I'm just noticing there's no of anything no more.
Yeah, it's we're in a bit of a confused state right now. We don't know who we are. The tribal chief has not shown up to TV in weeks. I don't know what they got going on with this Solo and a Blazer shit on SmackDown, but it's not moving me.
So Rob is a confused man. He's a tribe. He's a part of a tribe without a chief here. So I guess we'll see. Knowing you, Rob, once Big Jacob comes in, you'll be back in. You're gonna fall in line with Mr. Fatu. You're gonna throw the one up. You know what I mean? You're gonna be back in Team Bloodline. But until then, Rob is simply Rob, comma of. So,
Oh yeah,
Rob, thank you for joining us.
when Jacob Fatu kills Triple H. Oh yeah. Oh yeah, we're back in.
We'll definitely get into that. There was a PW Insider report saying that Jacob Fatu is expected to debut within this next week. And based on the setup of last week's SmackDown, it appears to be imminently. So that's a nice, pretty exciting setup for this Friday's episode of SmackDown on the Draft.
CM Punk Bruce Pritchard. Sorry.
CM Punk is also expected to be on that episode of SmackDown.
Oh, brother, go home!
Cody Rhodes will also be on that SmackDown. So that looks like it's going to be a really good episode. But what wasn't a really good episode was last night's Raw. I don't really know what happened last night. It's a bit of a dud. Just kind of there. There were some developments. I don't know how I feel about many of them. I guess we'll talk our way through them, and we'll get into it today. But last night's Raw emanated. What's up?
Things were developing.
Things are developing. Were they developing in a direction I like? I'm not sure. Like I said, we'll get into it. But before we do any of that, guys, please make sure to like the video, comment, subscribe, send us super chats. Give us your opinions on some of the directions, what happened on Raw, the King of the Ring, things you want to see from the draft, because I'm watching this Raw, and, you know, you can say I'm dick riding all you want, but without Cody Rhodes, there's some restructuring that's going to need to happen to make up for Cody Rhodes not being there. I feel like I'm watching a basketball team without their star player. And is there ways for the show to survive in Cody's absence? Sure. But you're going to have to change up the rotations. And I think certain guys that are getting the ball right now maybe don't need to shoot as much as they're shooting right now. You know, but that's just my opinion. Yeet. Anyways, like the video, comment, subscribe, give us your opinions. Give us your thoughts on Becky Lynch winning the Women's Championship. Give us your thoughts on the draft. Give us your thoughts on the King of the Ring so far. We'll talk about all these things and more. But first, I guess, Rob, do we have any super chats or no?
We got like 2 super chats so far. First one is Scott, 279 Canadian. The Grimes video was sad. Thank God we get into this first. The Grimes video was sad. Wish he was used more.
Yeah. Let's talk right about that now. So Cameron Grimes announced today that WWE called him to inform him that he's being released. And they've been doing releases since last Friday. In case you missed it, WWE has released Veer, Sangha, Jinder Mahal, Xia Li, and Von Wagner. So Cameron Grimes is the latest of the releases, and I think it's fair to say, out of everybody cut so far, he's the most put together and talented of all the wrestlers that they cut. He's also the youngest. He's only 30 years old. Right at the time of his career, world of talent.
Wait. Cameron Grimes is only 30?
He's only 30. Yeah, he's only 30, bro. When they signed him, he was in his mid-20s. This is a guy that I thought was very talented, very, very talented. He had an NXT stint that I thought he made the most of everything they gave him. You know, he did the To the Moon stuff and he made it work. He did the $1 Million Man stuff with Ted DiBiase and it worked. He had a good feud with LA Knight, a very underrated feud with LA Knight. That was a time and place when NXT was kind of shaky, kind of on its last legs in black and gold. But I thought he got so much out of just the opportunity he was given. He hung around in NXT 2.0. He won the North American Championship. And so his NXT run was pretty solid, but he got called up and it never connected for him. It just never happened. It never really came together. There's a lot of start-stop stuff but it never really truly got going. He was in some multi-mans. He squashed Baron Corbin in his debut. He had a tag match with Dragon Lee late last year, but never any sustained run, never sustained momentum, never a sustained push of any kind. And I mean, recently he was last seen getting squashed by Braun Breaker. So I knew that didn't bode well for Mr. Grimes, but he's somebody that they're cutting right now. And a really heart-wrenching video. He made a video, and if you didn't see it, he basically was just talking about how heartbroken he was and how this is his dream job. This is all he wanted to do. This is the only place he wanted to be. Like, clearly WWE was like something that he always like just valued being in. And he talked about how he's always trying to learn, always trying to pick the brains of the people around him. So he's very heartbroken, and he pretty much said, if this can't be where I'm at, then I'm going to have to go somewhere else to prove that, that Trevor Lee is somebody. So he's gonna try to do that, and I guess we all wish him the best in the future. And
Hey, man, say, man, I need that Commander versus Trevor Lee on a Rampage or a Collision, brother.
yeah, man, it's one of those things where like Impact feels like the destination, but I'll tell you what, with Trevor Lee, man, he's talented, and I don't think he has a main event ceiling in AEW, but I do think he's good, and I do think he's one of those guys, especially at his age, that like, why not give him a try? Why not let him be in that collision rotation of guys you put in? Like, I know there's a lot of guys you want to push in AEW, a lot of guys you want to use, but and I don't know if this is what he wants for his career, but having him just be in the mix as one of those workhorse guys you put in tags and put in singles matches on a collision, I don't think it's a bad option. He's a good wrestler. PWG's in his DNA, you know.
I'd even take Cameron Grimes as a challenger for Mark Briscoe on Honor Club or something, or have him on Honor Club doing flips with Top Flight and Private Party and all those guys on Honor Club. Like Trevor Lee is not like I don't see him as like a main event superstar one day, obviously, but like he's a guy you can use in like the mid card, upper mid card that has potential, bro. He's only 30 years old.
He's only 30.
He's only
Yeah.
30 years old. He's had so many revered matches that people love.
He had a hell of an indie run before this. So yeah, man, I think he's talented. Again, like Impact is probably the likely landing spot. However, I actually think AEW should give him at least a look of some kind because, again, like I said, I think he's good. We'll see. We'll see what happens for him.
He's a
He could do that.
PWG guy.
He can go to. Go ahead.
He's a PWG guy, so I don't see him not getting a look from AEW.
He should. You know what he should look into doing though? He should see if New Japan is interested in him.
Yes. Him and would he be a junior or would he be in the Dolph Ziggler division or the Nick Nemeth division?
I'm not sure, but I'll tell you this. He's a hell of a lot better than David Finlay. So if they want a guy that they can roll with, I mean, listen, man. Yeah, I honestly think he should explore looking into wrestling.
Way better than David Finlay.
Yeah, he is. So, like I said, he's not going to struggle to get a job. He's one of those dudes that he's going to immediately have a destination, have a place to go, and we wish him the best, man. Hopefully things turn out well for Trevor Lee.
All righty, thank you for the super chat, Scott. Another 279 Canadian. Also, Liv stands being mad is still kind of hilarious. I don't know what they thought was going to take place last night, bro. I really don't.
Who do they think Liv Morgan is, respectfully?
No, not even like that. Like, especially, I forgot who said it on Twitter, but somebody say, yo, like Triple H, Rhea Ripley is like Triple H's child that he's never had. Like, that he never had, bro. So, like, what do you think he's gonna do when Liv Morgan? I know she didn't hurt her like on purpose, but if the injury had something to do with an angle that she was a part of or something that she was a part of, and it's his fucking basic damn near his adopted daughter and Rhea Ripley, do you think that he's basically not gonna like reward Liv Morgan by giving her a world title? First of all, we already have a storyline where a guy hurt a guy, or where somebody hurt somebody in the promotion, and they're using it as storyline to basically become world champion, and they already did it. So why would we just repeat the same thing with Liv Morgan? It doesn't make sense to repeat that exact same thing unless she loses it in like a day, and there is no Money in the Bank person to do that with, like there was at WrestleMania, because Io cashed it in last year at SummerSlam. So there's really no point in doing it. Also, Becky Lynch is the ace of the division, but we'll get into that later.
Yeah, man. Look, man, I just don't. I don't have time for this complaining. To be honest with you, Becky Lynch is the most reliable women's star in the Raw Women's division. She's somebody that she had to pretty much forego her vacation that she was going to take while they figured out her contract, and she came back to work to do this battle royal because the women's division needed it. Why would she not win it if she's flying all the way in from the UK to do this match? And again, when you lose a top star like Rhea Ripley, what you need in her absence is stability. And so you don't get more stable and more steady and more reliable
when Kenny Omega and CM Punk were both hurt. Who did they look to, Ibu?
They turned to Jon Moxley.
Exactly.
It's the exact same thing. And look, it was Jon Moxley the sexiest pick at the time, just like is Becky Lynch the sexiest pick? Maybe not, but it's a reliable, steady main event hand that's been there before. And also the other thing is like you want the ratings to stay steady and all that type of stuff. It's like you got to go for proven people. And we'll talk about it when it comes to this Raw show.
She could literally lose the belt next week in France to Nia Jax or something. Maybe.
Hopefully not. But
yeah, I hope they don't do that. But
even though I wouldn't have hated Nia winning, but yeah, they actually set up some stuff for Becky in that match. Like she was going back and forth with Nia, but she also had some back and forth with Piper Niven. And I would not be opposed to getting some Piper Niven Becky Lynch matches. They had a match in like 2022 that was pretty good. So yeah, we'll get into all that.
She got to take that fucking outfit off and put the single back on.
Yeah, I agree.
That outfit look crazy. Thank you for the super chat, Scott. Black Yakuzu, $94.05. I'm surprised that Raw doesn't get worse ratings. It was pretty mediocre. Diva stands don't deserve any rights. Holy shit. I think Jay is fine, but he's not a top guy.
We'll get into Raw. Jey Uso, I mean, I don't want to repeat myself.
Yeet.
We've spoken about this. Look, the yeet thing has a ceiling.
Yeet.
Happy-go-lucky, fun-loving, yeet-saying Jey Uso is fine as an undercard dude. On these Raw episodes where we were seeing fucking Rock and Cody and Rollins and all these other top names, yeah, it's fine to put him in an hour or two just having a yeet match. Opening the show as your headline guy, it's not going to cut it. It's not going to cut it. You need more substance from that act.
Sorry, I'm doing that while you're talking. I mean, Jey Uso's new promo structure taught me that when you talk, you're supposed to stop so people can chant yeet in the background.
Hey, Rob.
What's up?
Welcome to Raw. You're supposed to do the yeet.
Oh shit. Go do it again.
Welcome.
Yeet.
To Raw.
Yeet.
Damian Priest.
Yeet.
I'm going to get him.
Yeet.
I'm going to get him at Backlash.
Yeet.
I'm going to get him tonight.
Yeet.
I'm going to get the Judgment Day.
Yeet.
And I'm going to show them.
Yeet.
That main event Jey Uso.
Yeet. No, that's not how he did it. Yo, this is the worst part. That's not how he did it. He goes, that, yeet, Jay. I was like, all right, bro. Like, at that point, I was like, okay, bro. What is going on here?
This is brain rot. Like,
I was like, yo, this is crazy.
Rot.
And like people attacked me and even when we said this on Twitter, but it's like, bro, I've seen Jey Uso cut a competent promo, and he can say a sentence, and then the crowd go yeet. When Austin was doing the fucking what chance, he wasn't doing it. He wasn't pausing mid fucking sentence. He wasn't saying it after every word. He would like talk and he would be like, I'm gonna drink some beer, some whiskey, what like it goes like that. But Jey Uso can't talk anymore.
It's crazy because he's actually a really good promo. He's a really fucking good promo. So, yeah. Look, again, like I said, either you do this in the mid card or you revert him back to the Jey Uso we like. But he is happy-go-lucky sidekick Jey Uso being used in a show opening role. And I think, like I was speaking about rotations earlier, Rob, and here's the deal. If there's not going to be any Cody Rhodes, then you have to now pivot to Sami Zayn being the show opening act of Monday Night Raw. Sami Zayn, Becky Lynch, Gunther, Drew McIntyre, those four people. Um, Jay is not at that level. It's just the bottom line, and it's why I'm pretty ready, Rob, for the Usos to reunite. I've seen enough, and it's nothing against Jay.
I'll even go as far to say not even just Jay, but I seeing from how awful the opening segment was last night and how awkward it was. I'm not ready to say that Damian Priest is an act that can take the world title and be like, even though I didn't really like Seth Rollins' reign all that much, the first half was fine because he had great matches. The second half was just really
He
bad.
is a made man. He's an
Like
established
he's a
top guy.
made man. He can start off a Raw and waffle and do all this, but Damian Priest, while he was just out there waffling, it sounded like he was about to talk about a night where him and Jey Uso went out and had some drinks and some shit happened. The way he was fucking talking to Jey Uso, he was
Yeah.
like, "We had some drinks, we had a good time." I was like, "Yo, like, what's going on here? Like, are
I
y'all about
yeah,
to like
it was.
tell us something?"
I watched it back. I remember when I was watching this live because I was in a horrible mood for some context. I was watching the Nick game. They were pissing me off. I turned to Raw and like they're doing this thing, and I was like, oh, this sucks. But I rewatched it and I'm like, look, what they're going for. It appeared that what they were trying to do was draw a personal connection between the two of them and then tie it into the match. Was it as smooth and as elegant as maybe you would like? No. And also, my bigger issue is more so just, does this feel like a world title program? And I was told by somebody who works in professional wrestling. I cannot disclose the promotion he works for, but he told me this, that when somebody's a new champion, what you cannot do in their first feud is pit them against somebody that has never been a main event world champion before.
Yeah.
Basically meaning, so like Damian Priest, right? He's now a new champion. He was telling me like the rule is as a booker, you got to put him against somebody who has been a main event world champion before. So it would have
Yes.
had to have been whoever you could think of that's been a former champion on the roster.
Which is
And
why Cody, I know he's been Ring of Honor world champion, but which is why when Cody won the WWE Universal title, who was his first feud? AJ,
AJ Styles.
who literally held the WWE title for like 374
And
days.
notice how everybody's on board and locked in with that matchup. AJ Styles, Cody Rhodes, let's go. But this one, it's not the same. And I'll say what, I never thought of this rule, like literally. But when I thought about it, I was like, that makes a lot of sense. Because here's the deal. If you as a new champion immediately go to working somebody who's also just a mid-carder, then the feud and the belt feels like mid-card. You know, people took a lot of shots at Seth Rollins' world title being a fake world title. And it never quite escaped that perception of being the secondary one and the main one. However, I'll be honest, I didn't actually think it was like I could tell myself it was a main event belt of some level, of some capacity.
Yeah, because the matches were at the beginning weren't bad. Like you could main event a fast lane or a payback with the world title matches that he had with Finn Balor on
Correct.
those fucking pay-per-views.
But I don't think anybody is considering Damian Priest versus Jay as the main event of Backlash. I don't think anyone's considering that. It's just going to be a match that's on the show. And yeah, now this belt feels squarely like a mid-card championship. It doesn't even feel bigger than Sami Zayn's belt because Sami Zayn is an established made guy. And the guy he beat for it was Gunther, and that was an amazing match. And they did a lot to help the perception of the IC belt. So
Who was in that four-way a couple weeks ago? That took us
to qualify for this,
yeah,
it was Jay
it was
Uso,
Drew,
Bronson Reed,
Jay, Bronson,
and
and who's the
Ricochet.
quick guy? Ricochet. Oh
Yes,
fuck! Well, you can't give it to Drew McIntyre.
you
So
can't give it to Drew. So that's the thing. It's one of those. This is one of those means to an end, just kind of like B pay-per-view title matches, and it's going to be fine. And then Priest is going to retain. I'm ready for the Usos to reunite. You know, Jay has done very well for himself as a singles wrestler. Jimmy managed to stay afloat, and he ended up being, ironically, some entertaining television as a result. But I think they've both maximized what they can be as singles wrestlers, and I think it's time to reunite. And thankfully, I think they are reuniting because after this pay-per-view cycle, it's time for them to kind of get back together to fight Tama Tonga and Solo Sikoa. But Black Yakuza, thank you for the super chat.
oh shit! The More Perfect Union just tweeted breaking the FTC just banned non-compete agreements.
Mm.
The Federal Trade Commission has issued a final rule making it illegal for bosses to make workers sign non-competes in any scenario, and voiding nearly all existent non-competes.
So the
This is a
question,
game changer for American workers.
it is a game changer. The question is going to be: do they consider wrestlers as workers? Because they're not employees; they're independent contractors, which is why a lot of labor laws and union stuff never affects them. Is because they don't have a union because again they're independent contractors. So I'm curious to see if promoters are going to use that to circumvent this, especially WWE. But
This is tweeted out, by the way. This is tweeted out by the More Perfect Union. So
yeah, it's a big deal. If WWE no longer does no competes, that's going to be very interesting. It's going to be very interesting.
MBD said WWE isn't under that because it's considered a 90-day notice because you get paid for it.
Yes, yeah. The WWE wrestlers get paid for their.
But they've been said like a couple years ago that WWE guys, they can just be like, no, I don't want the money, and then their 90 days is over, pretty much.
Yeah, the thing is though, most wrestlers just take the money.
Yeah.
Most wrestlers just get paid. Yeah.
Okay. The next super chat is Karan Mir Chandani. I got it finally. 100 rupees. Becky Lynch is the ace that wants the ball. Yes, absolutely. She wouldn't have flown from across the fucking world if she was the ace that wanted the ball, bro. It is what it is. And people get mad that it's Becky Lynch, but if it wasn't Becky Lynch and Charlotte was available, it would have been Charlotte. If it was like, come on, guys, like, why are we acting? If it was Bianca Belair who was on Raw and Bianca Belair was available, it would have been Bianca Belair who took the title. It is what it is, guys. It wasn't going to be Liv Morgan. It wasn't going to be any of these people that you thought it was going to be. It just wasn't. In no perfect sense did it make sense that Liv Morgan is running around laughing about it. And from a karma standpoint, it doesn't make sense that Liv Morgan is running around laughing about injuring Rhea Ripley and then she wins the title. It doesn't. So, which is why what happened to Drew at WrestleMania happened to Drew. He was making fun of Punk all WrestleMania season, and he wasn't. He was talking about he was locked in on Seth Rollins, and then when he finally won the title, he started making fun of CM Punk and Karma, and instant Karma got his ass, and he lost the title. It is what it is. Ebu, do you have any thoughts on this before I go to the next super chat?
No, I made my stance clear. Becky Lynch is the shit, so it is what it is.
Hush 199, but Becky Devo and iHeart American Heroes last. Oh, I know who you're talking about. Becky Devo and iHeart American
Isaiah Hart and
Heroes last night.
Dante DiVincenzo and
Yeah,
Becky
bro.
Lynch. Absolutely.
I didn't know
What a
y'all
fucking
niggas
ending
called
that
him
next
Devo. My fault.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, bro. Devo, yo, we was watching the game live, bro, and that fucking 3 that DiVincenzo hit was crazy. I don't know why they left it open like
That's
that.
one of the wildest endings to a playoff game I've ever seen in my life.
And then Tyrese Maxey thought he had it, and iHeart was like, no.
That was unfucking believable. I turned the game off after Kyle Lowry got fouled. Lowry got fouled.
Y'all don't understand. Like Ibu, while he's watching the Knicks game, it's the funniest shit because he's literally like, he's literally yelling and screaming. He's like, "Yo, what the fuck? I was a fucking foul, yo."
Yeah, it was very stressful.
Y'all should have heard me after fucking AD blew the game last night. Holy shit. That AD scored 0 points in the entire fourth quarter, by the way. He hadn't scored since 7 minutes left in the third quarter, by the way.
It is just crazy.
Yeah, that shit crazy. Hush 199, Liv Morgan Bin Laden, you will not ruin my bed. Yo, I like Liv, but I wouldn't. It was not even really her. It's not even really her that's made. It's her fucking fan base. The rabid side of her fan base that like believes in her brain that she should have been the one to face Rhea Ripley at WrestleMania and beat her. And it's like, no, that wasn't taking place. WWE told you in January that it was Rhea Ripley versus Becky Lynch, no matter if Liv Morgan was coming back or not. So that just wasn't happening. Jay Stone 999. Strange and mediocre Raw last night. Can't believe how many people wanted Liv and Nia Jax to win the World Heavyweight Championship in a random throwaway battle royal, as opposed to winning Becky.
Pinning Becky.
As opposed to pinning Becky. I wanted Nia to win for the simple fact that I think that a Nia reign wouldn't be that bad with the work that she's been producing over the last 6 months or so. I wouldn't have really had a problem with her winning more than me wanting her to actually win. I didn't want Liv Morgan to win the title at all because I didn't want that, like I said, the rabid side of her fan base to be vindicated. So yeah, no.
Mm-hmm.
I that's why I wanted Nia to win, but I don't really have a problem with the Becky being champion. If she loses it in a couple weeks, if she doesn't, that's fine. But I wholeheartedly expect her to probably hold it till Rhea comes back, and they do her versus Rhea too, and she'll probably lose again, and that's when she'll finally actually take her vacation. So, thank you
That'd
for
be
the
interesting.
super
2 straight
chat.
losses for Becky. That'd be crazy.
Yeah, I mean, because Becky, the new thing now is Becky Lynch wins 90% of the time. So like she won 90% of her women's title reign, or NXT women's title reign. She was winning before that. So realistically, Jay Stone already 499, also ready for Ricochet and Andrade to move away from the Judgment Day stuff.
I'm not like over it in that sense, but I will say last night's match wasn't as good as you'd think it would be. It was kind of like clunky and awkward and didn't have that much heat. And yeah, I don't know, it's just weird. Like I thought Andrade specifically looked really good, and everybody else was just kind of not their normal form. Santos was okay. JD was all right. Ricochet wasn't as spectacular as he usually is. But one of the things that really stood out to me, Rob, was that Dominic, his injury is like going to be a quiet killer for them. I think like he's not like one of their big players, but he's so effective on their TV when it comes to getting heat. And I think Dominic not being able to wrestle for a little bit is actually a pretty big blow. And you noticed it last night.
Yeah, what does he have? What happened to his arm?
I'm not sure. I don't know if it's a shoulder or elbow, but he was taken out of the house shows, and he got replaced by Ricochet. And yeah, no Dom for the time being. He's gonna be on TV. He's growing a mustache. Him simply growing a mustache is getting heat. They're chanting "shave that mustache." So that tells you the power of Dominic.
He should just grow the little Eddie Guerrero shit, the mustache and the goatee.
Might as well.
Fuck it. Go full Eddie.
Yeah.
Fuck it. Thank you for the super chat, Jay Stone. Alien Love 199. Becky Hogan doesn't have much left. Hashtag Liv Morgan Revenge Tour. Becky Hogan. Becky Hogan is crazy because Becky, when she was winning 90% of those matches, she gave Indy Hartwell the literal best match of her entire career. You can't name me an Indy Hartwell match as good or better than that Becky Lynch match. So
yeah, she literally dedicated her NXT title run to like trying to elevate like the catering of women's, the women's
she
division.
Gave Xia Li the best match she ever had, and Xia Li went to NXT.
Like, she literally was going through like all of catering. Again.
Yeah, like
going through all of catering.
Xia Li went to NXT, and we never saw her again. And we never saw her again after the Becky Lynch match.
I'll tell you what. I would like to see Tiffany Stratton and Becky Lynch wrestle again because their matches were really good.
Yes, it's those matches were really good. The Extreme Rules match was anti-me. I liked it, but the doll spot took me out of it. I was like, yo, what's
that was
I was like, yo, what's going on here? I had it at a 4, and then she did that. I was like, yeah, 3.5.
But in general, I do really like their chemistry.
Yeah. Thank you for the super chat. Long live Becky Hogan. Kale, 50 Mexican pesos. When the chips are down, when your top star goes out, and the division is in dire need of help, you put the belt on the ace. Big X.
Facts. That's exactly what you do.
Please talk.
What better option was there? Have you seen the Raw Women's division?
Nah, bro. It should not, bro. We should have given Zoe Stark a chance, bro.
And I don't got issues with Zoe Starks, but my goodness. We should have Jesus fucking Christ.
We should have gave I can't even think of who else is on the roster. We should have gave Ivy Nile.
Maxine Dupree, like what the fuck?
You saw they was putting her over during the battle royal last night. Like they kept having her eliminate a bunch of women in there, but I don't know.
Dragon Lee tweeted red or blue. I'd like to see Dragon Lee on Raw purely for the sake of the fact that, in my view, Rob, I think the better workers should be on Raw because they're gonna have more time to wrestle. Whereas, like the people that you can like, they're better served wrestling in 7-minute matches, 6-minute matches. Those are the people that should be on SmackDown. So let me give you an example. And I like LA Knight, but I don't need to see a 16-minute LA Knight Raw match. You know what I mean?
Yes.
Jey Uso, to be honest with you, I don't need to see Jey Uso wrestle a 15-minute match. We've seen what those Jey Uso 15-minute matches look like. Whereas there's times on SmackDown, you know, I watched a Mia Yim match. It's like 5 minutes. It's good. And I'm like, man, I wish I could have seen more of that. I would have loved to see more of Mia Yim. You know, Dragon Lee. I want to see Dragon Lee wrestle for longer matches. The New Catch Republic with Tyler Bate and Pete Dunne. They're a hell of a team. They had that really good SmackDown tag last week that went like longer than a SmackDown match normally goes. Those are the type of good dudes.
The SmackDown, you know what I would do? I would take the IC title, and I would take the IC title. I would take Sami Zayn. I would take Chad Gable, and I would move that entire situation to SmackDown. Because no. But listen.
What are you talking about?
Hear me out.
You want to watch Sami Zayn wrestle in 6-minute matches?
Hey man, Chad Gable in 6-minute matches would be crazy.
No,
man, you sound really.
What the fuck is wrong with you?
You sound really upset. I don't know.
What is this WWE speed shit?
Oh yeah, never mind. You're right. You're right.
That's what I'm saying, bro. Like, where do I get out of that?
Yo, I forgot about WWE speed. Never mind. I forgot how bad. I had it in my head and I said it out loud, and then you reminded me how bad WWE speed is. Yo, WWE speed isn't even like bad wrestling. It's the fact that I can't get into it. I can't get into it.
The matches are 2.5 minutes. What do I get out of that?
It's like what? It's like I can't get into it, bro. It's not.
Dragon Lee and Ricochet maximize the concept because they're spectacular in their first opening match. But generally speaking, how many wrestlers in the world can give you something worthwhile in 2.5 minutes? Very few. You get nothing out of it. It's a waste of fucking time. Yeah, and this nigga Rob is telling me take the best wrestlers in WWE and the best in-ring stuff that the company's producing and move them to the show. And move them into the show where people can't wrestle longer than 12 minutes in the main event and 6 minutes elsewhere on the show.
The thing is, right?
What's wrong with you?
Thing is, I was thinking about Chad Gable and the Wrestling Machine, and I was thinking about Kurt Angle's 7-minute SmackDown matches and how gassed they were. And then you reminded me that WWE speed was bad. So then I was like, never mind, you're right.
Right.
So, but needless to say, I don't know. I actually don't know.
Carol 22 said Ibu Sammy's going to SmackDown. Logan is advertised for Raw next week. They're changing brands.
That's why I said that, bro. Because if they're advertising Logan for Raw, it's like,
what the fuck?
That's why I said that, bro. Like,
what the fuck?
Hey, man.
The only good that could come out of this is if Kevin Owens stays there and we could reunite Kevin Owens and Sami Zayn.
And who knows? But who knows? This is the thing, though. You're saying these things that, like, the Bloodline segments haven't really been that long lately. They haven't. Like, unless Rock or Roman is there, they're not going to be that long.
The way the show is formatted, like, it's just formatted in a way where, like, you just don't get that much wrestling.
But the thing is also that what if they make a major change and move the Bloodline shit around or something like that? Like they move the Bloodline shit to a different show. Like, that's the thing. We don't know what could happen with this draft.
If they move the Bloodline to Raw and Jacob Fatu's in it, that's pretty interesting. Like, I could get down with that.
I feel like the Bloodline shit is gonna get moved to Raw purely for the simple fact that they're going on Netflix, and if they're going on Netflix, The Rock is gonna want to get his shit off on Netflix. Because if he goes on Netflix and they make the show imagine they go to Netflix, right? They make the show TV14 and TVMA. They don't have to bleep them saying what the fuck. They don't have to bleep them saying holy shit.
It's a very promising prospect for sure.
Yeah, like so that's why I think the Bloodline might get moved to Raw.
Here's the thing about it.
Also, if you remember during one of the Rock's Twitter promos before I let you go, he said that the reason why WWE got the $5 billion Netflix deal is because of him.
Mm-hmm.
So
Yeah, Rock's gonna be on Netflix. Like he's gonna be on Netflix. The other thing I'll say is this: um, Nick Aldis, when he was talking to Paul Heyman last week, he basically was like, "Yo, get your shit together. Can I?" And he basically was asking for a verbal guarantee that there won't be like a messy, like just won't be any bullshit next week. So, could there be a situation where Nick Aldis has had it and he's like, I want no parts of this fucking group on my show anymore. Get the fuck out of here. I don't know. I don't know. We'll see.
That's the
But
thing.
here's what I do know. Monday Night Raw is 3 hours long.
Yeah.
And on a 3 hour show, the best way to fill Raw has struggled throughout its entire existence as a 3 hour show. And the only times it works is when there are hot storylines and angles and good wrestling. When the angles and the storylines are not that good and they're flat, the segments suck. And when you don't get good wrestlers, then it's like the whole thing's just a waste of fucking time. The show falls apart very easily because it's really hard to do 3 hours of TV. You have to have that perfect mix. And so they struck a solid mix this last go around with the draft with making Raw a show that can handle 3 hours. It's going to be interesting to see how they do it this time around because again, you need those headlining acts. Jey Uso's not it. Damian Priest is not it. You're going to need top guys. You're going to need top angles, and you're going to need good workers. So we shall see what they end up doing. Yeah, we shall see
He's
what they end
not,
up
bro.
doing.
I guys, I don't think he's taking out all this. I just don't. I don't think he's taking out all this. It wouldn't make sense. Who's? I think it
If
would
the
make more
bloodline are on
sense.
Raw, I'll tell you this though, because here's the thing. Here's the other thing I want to say, and I'm very selfish about this. Monday Night Raw is the only wrestling show I get to watch live. I work Tuesday nights. I work Wednesday nights. I work Friday nights. I don't see any of these wrestling shows live. Raw is the only one I get to see live. So selfishly, I want the wrestlers I like on Raw so I can watch them wrestle. And that's why I was excited when Gunther got moved over. And it's why I'm happy that Cody's on Raw because it's one of my favorite wrestlers. I get to sit down, Wrestle Purists Worldwide is done. I get to watch Cody Rhodes do his thing. Him moving to SmackDown fucking stinks. And now I'm being subjected to the awesome truth. It's really, really tough. So if Jacob Fatu replaces that, then I could live with that. You know what I mean? I could see Jacob. I could enjoy that. So
Yeah,
on and
that's the
so
thing.
forth.
I just think that they're gonna do more. And who knows when they move the bloodline around? Because see, that's another thing. Moving the bloodline to Raw gives SmackDown more of an opening to change the format of the way that because a lot of the way their show is formatted around the bloodline stuff. Like the
And
bloodline
so
stuff on 30 minutes.
here's what we could do. What we
Yeah.
could get. I don't know if this happens, but that's the other thing. You'd have to now change every time there's a draft. The identities of the shows change. I know it might seem like we're overanalyzing this, but like you really have to think about the dynamics of how these shows work, right? And I hope they're thinking about this too. And historically, after a draft, there's always one show that ends up just being the wrestling show, right? And Nick Aldis is a former NWA champion, and he's very old school and classical. His champion now will be Cody Rhodes. If the bloodline moved to Raw, you could then see something where Nick Aldis is like, SmackDown is free of the bullshit. SmackDown is free of the nonsense. We are now a straight professional
We
wrestling
can go
show.
back to SmackDown 2016. This is the land of opportunity, pussy.
It depends on who they get, though. So we'll see. We'll see how this turns out. I wonder where LA Knight goes. I get this weird feeling he's going to move to Raw. I just get the feeling he's moving to Raw.
Yeah.
So we'll see. Logan Paul to Raw sounds really annoying. I don't. It sounds annoying.
Oh, bro.
But yeah, we'll see what ends up happening there. I kind of want EO on Raw. I kind of want to Raw when it comes to the women's division, right? Raw needs women that I can throw in the main event of the show for 16 minutes and not like be fucking waiting with bated breath.
They're definitely gonna put Bianca's and shit on Raw since they're going to Netflix.
They just
I
need
think
they just need really good wrestlers to add to the women's division on Raw.
I think a lot of this draft is going to be centered around Netflix and USA later on this year.
I wonder who gets sent down NXT. I really wonder.
Well, they're already telling you that, brother, with who's showing up.
Yeah, Ivar probably. Natty would make sense. Karrion Kross and those dudes. I wonder who else. I think Cedric Alexander would benefit from being moved back down. Cameron Grimes could have been sent down there, but they fired him, unfortunately. I wonder who else on the roster that isn't being used could benefit NXT. So we shall see. But Hush sent 199 and says Priest stinks. Jack Swagger 2.0. I would not say he's a Jack Swagger 2.0 because Priest is a successful main roster act, whereas Swagger, like, he could never find his way on WWE until maybe like the Real American stuff. So that was an absolute flop of the world title run. I don't know if this is going to be a flop. I just think it's going to be one of those runs where it's going to be the only one of his career, and he'll never get back to that point because where Priest realistically levels out is upper mid card. So he'll probably lose his belt and settle right back to being an upper mid card tag guy.
All righty, thank you for the super chat. Hush, Miksu 10 PLN. Ebu, is Punk cleared or close to? Is he at the draft?
Punk will be on the draft TV. Yes, he will be on the draft TV. Is he cleared? No, he's not cleared. Is he close? I'll tell you this: you can expect him on the European shows in the summertime. I'd imagine. I think he's aiming for like the early summer. I'd expect him by the late summer.
Yeah, I would because it might be an Adam Cole thing to where if he keeps traveling, like I think this draft is going to be his last appearance probably, and I feel like if he keeps it's going to be things to where if he keeps traveling, it might slow down the process of him coming back. So I 100% think that he after this draft thing, he's just going to go home. Black Yakuzu, $10. What kills me about Liv Stands is that they're trying to compare her to Cody, and you can tell they do not watch the show at all to say that. Also, the Knicks won, and I screamed at the last 3-pointer.
Hell yeah. I don't know, man. The Liv Stands are just they're there's nothing wrong with supporting your person, but it's clear with how they talk about Becky Lynch that they don't understand wrestling. Like they're pointing out that like she's won the championship before, and I'm like, yeah, top stars win championships. Like as long as they're going to be top names that draw, they will continue to win championships. That's how it works.
I agree. Same thing. I don't need to rag on Liv Stands anymore. Hush 199. When is Awesome Truth dropping? Triple H is failing.
I don't know. Hopefully sooner rather than later. I would have liked Imperium to do it, but it looks like that won't be the case because Vinci has been kicked out. So I don't even know what's the heel team to beat them. Like, can you think of any heel teams
might
right
be
now,
Imperium. It might be Imperium with a new member.
We'll get into that one. Thank you,
Imperium
Hush.
with a new member. So we'll see. And that is all the super chats that we have for right now.
Awesome. Cool. All right. So Monday Night Raw opened up, and they were in Columbus, Ohio. And we opened up with Michael Cole and Pat McAfee. Just kind of giving you guys the rundown and telling us the situation with the women's title. The championship is going to be decided in a battle royal in the main event. Battle royal for the Women's World Championship. Becky Lynch is back from her vacation. We saw her. We saw Liv Morgan entering the venue. We saw a couple other people, but that was plugged for the main event. And they were talking in one of the biggest matches in company history. And we opened Raw with Jey Uso and Damian Priest. And basically, Jey Uso said Backlash was in 2 weeks and he had a lot to prove. And he had to prove that main event Jey Uso, he had to prove that he was main event Jey Uso. He said he had to beat Damian Priest to make everything he went through worth it. Priest entered. Priest told Jey to relax, and he basically started kind of easing him into it. He was being nice to him and friendly. He was talking about backstage. They once told each other, like, oh, we're up next. And he made mention of like how they went out for drinks, and Jey was on that Bloodline Good stuff, which is interesting. Damian Priest made mention of how he paid the bill and how Jey said he took an Uber. And so they're going back and forth with that type of stuff until ultimately Priest said, you aren't next, I'm next. You're the guy that the machine is feeding to me to make me look good, which is, it's a bit meta there. But yeah, he's basically saying, look, you're like a just a pay-per-view challenger for me to make me look good. And Jey Uso took the shades off and he actually showed some life and energy here. And he basically turned into 2017 rap battle Jey Uso. And he started getting at him. He was saying, like, you're only the leader because Rhea Ripley's not there right now on Judgment Day. He said, you're Dominic's bitch. He said that you're not, I'm not being fed to you. They're feeding you to me. and then what's my man's name? JD McDonough comes in and he tries to attack Jay. Jay ducks his clothesline. Jay goes for a super kick on JD McDonough and he ducks. And Jay Uso super kicks Damian Priest. And he's very upset about this. And he's looking at JD and he's mad at JD. And that was the opening segment. We spoke extensively about this matchup in general and where we stand with both guys. But is there any other opinions you'd like to add to this, Rob?
I didn't like this at all. It just was really
Mm,
bad. It just was really, really bad.
mm,
I didn't like the intro to it. Like you can explain that these guys used to like have some sort of friendship without the way you presented it. I don't like Jay Uso should be doing what he said. But he should be doing what he did and saying what he said after Priest called him a challenger to feed him 90% of the time. It shouldn't
mm,
just be let me get serious for a second. Like I'm not saying he shouldn't have fun. You can have fun. But that's the shit I hate about Seth Rollins. Hate Seth Rollins' promos 90% of the time until he's talking to CM Punk. Because when he's
mm,
talking to CM Punk, he's serious because he legitimately does not like CM Punk. I'm not saying you got to
mm,
legitimately not like somebody, but you have to at least act like you don't like Jay Uso, and he just doesn't like he and no act like you don't like Damian Priest. And so I think that what Jay Uso did here after the insult is what he should do 90% of the time, but they're not going to change it because Yeet makes money, so they're not going to change it.
yep, yep. So that was the opening segment there. Again, I need more energy to open Monday Night Raw, man. I need energy. I need excitement. I need big time. I need box office. I need great angles, not okay angles, not promo segments that are all right. I need Sami Zayn, Becky Lynch, Drew McIntyre. So that's just kind of the bottom line there. After this, Chad Gable and Gunther were shown arriving earlier today, and they plugged the king and queen of the ring. Um, Johnny Gargano and Tommaso Ciampa, DIY, took on Awesome Truth. They had a match for the World Tag Team Championships. This went 2 segments, and wrestling wise, I actually thought this ended up being the best match of the show. Gargano was sharp. Tommaso Ciampa was awesome. Miz was work rate Miz, which meant he just didn't botch anything. And R-Truth is quietly still he can still quietly get it done in the ring. So I thought this was
Yeah.
a good match, but the big story here, the frustrating story here, is that DIY did not win. Uh, Johnny Gargano ate a combination move, which looked like a code breaker mixed with a freaking skull crushing finale. And so they double teamed and got the win on him here after Tommaso Ciampa was thrown into the audience. And again, the Awesome Truth are still the tag team champions. DIY were in the ring with Awesome Truth, and Johnny was telling Ciampa to shake Miz and R-Truth's hand, but he refused to do so. And then he slipped out the ring and walked off. So Ciampa is frustrated. He's pissed off. And Gargano is left standing there like, oh, man, what the hell's going on here? So, yeah, DIY are not the tag champions. It's fucking Awesome Truth. I've had enough of the act. Uh, in ring, it's like whatever because the crowd at least cheers for them, so their matches have heat. But what I can't do is the Awesome Truth segments. They mercifully spared us from one this week. But just generally speaking, this is an act that does not have longevity or upside. And I could understand them getting the belts at Mania and getting that moment. But as a sustained thing that's just going to be on the show, as a championship act, it's just not it. And it's so far removed from the tag team wrestling that was main eventing pay-per-views last year. And tag team wrestling main evented many pay-per-views last year, including WrestleMania Night 1. What did you think of this, Rob?
I especially enjoyed this due to the fact that it was good for what it was, and I like our truth and I like DIY. I just don't care about Awesome Truth anymore. Like at first it was fine because nostalgia, like they had that really cool angle when I was a kid where they beat up everyone in the Hell in the Cell, and that was cool. But realistically, like them getting a WrestleMania moment and everything, like that shit is crazy to me. And it's like now they got their WrestleMania moment. We get it. Our Truth has never had a WrestleMania moment. But now the funny if this is sports entertainment shit to me, the jokes that like the presentation that they have, the jokes that they have and shit. This is sports entertainment to me. And like shit like this, if you can't present yourself as a professional wrestling promotion and then do segments like our Awesome Truth do, it's just not gonna work. It's not gonna work. So
Yep. I'm over it. Enough.
yeah, like, it's time, bro. It's time. That sports entertainment shit is dead.
Yeah, but enough. So that was that. And backstage, Damian Priest was admonishing JD McDonough, and he was yelling at him. Dominic approached with his mustache, and he let Damian Priest know, brother, I'm hurt. And so I got someone in to replace me for my tag match tonight. And then that's when in comes Santos Escobar. And he told him, like, I already cleared it with Pierce and Nick Aldis for him to replace me. And he said, like, I just got him in because I'm repaying the favor. You know, I helped him at WrestleMania when I tagged with Legado del Fantasma. And so now he's repaying the favor by helping me. And so they tied this together. Like you know, I spoke to the GMs, we got it done, and I'm repaying a favor. But Priest is basically like, I don't know this nigga. What the fuck? That ain't my man. That's your man. So you better get this shit done. And so that was the setup there. So later tonight they're gonna do Santos Escobar and JD McDonough versus Ricochet and Andrade. So that was that. After that, Gunther came out. Gunther is back. He's in a sweater. He's no longer the Intercontinental Champion. And he had a pretty good promo. He walked out with Giovanni and Vinci and Ludwig Kaiser. And Gunther said he wasn't here to talk about WrestleMania or take shots at Sami Zayn. He said he elevated the Intercontinental Championship over his 666-day reign. Astaghfirullah. He said he elevated it to heights it never seen, and he became the greatest Intercontinental Champion in history. And after saying this, he got big cheers from the audience. Gunther said he walked around with a target on his back for 2 years, but now that weight has been lifted. Gunther said, thank you to Sami for lifting that weight, and he can now be the hunter instead of the hunted. And after that, Rob, Gunther declared himself.
What did he say, Ibu?
He declared himself for the King of the Ring. And he said after he wins the King of the Ring, he could decide which championship he wanted to go after. He warned every champion that they would be hunted by the General of the Ring and soon to be King of the Ring. And so let's stop right there because King of the Ring is back. It is once again a pay-per-view. This will be the first King of the Ring pay-per-view, Rob, since 2002.
And
last one by Brock Lesnar in 2002. Brock won the King of the Ring. He beat Rob Van Dam in the finals, and he went on to face The Rock at SummerSlam, and he beat The Rock and became the WWE champion. The King of the Ring has historically been an event used to elevate wrestlers to the main event scene. In the last 2 decades, Vince McMahon used it more so as a gimmick vehicle to give people king gimmicks. But when King of the Ring was in its heyday, Robert, people like Bret the Hitman Hart, people like Owen Hart, people like Steve Austin, people like Triple H, people like Kurt Angle, people like Brock Lesnar were taken to the next level after winning the King of the Ring. So it's exciting that they're bringing us back as a pay-per-view. For those of you that don't know, the reason why they stopped making it a pay-per-view is because it's kind of hard to sell a pay-per-view where it's just kind of a bracket and you don't know where the card is going to go. And so the buy rates were never the best for them. But nevertheless, buy rates don't matter in 2024. And there's many good wrestlers in WWE. So bringing back a tournament show where they just wrestle is exciting. And the Intercontinental Championship was in the absolute pits before Gunther saved it from fucking obscurity. And hopefully he does the same thing here because this tournament has been a fucking joke for years. But Gunther can reverse that. If he wins this tournament and it leads to him winning a world championship, then we are in the money, as Prince Nana says.
I liked the 2021 one. Wasn't that bad? It was
the wrestling was good, but it just
wrestling was good. It was just like it was more centered around Xavier Woods. And this is no disrespect to Xavier Woods, but it was centered around him making it a gimmick, kind of more than it was like, yo, this is the King of the Ring. And I get he had a program with Roman after the fact, which is fine. But I like that they're bringing back because Brock won it in 2002 and he got a world title match out of it.
Yes.
Who won it in 2001? I forgot. Edge, right?
Edge won it in 01 when they wanted to give him a singles push. That was pretty much
and he won the IC title out of it.
He won the IC title, and then 2002 ended up being the best year of his career up until that point as a singles wrestler on SmackDown.
Yep.
In 2000, Kurt Angle won it, and he ended up winning the WWF Championship like 3 months later.
Yeah. So
So that's the thing. Look, Vince hated tournaments, and the problem with the tournament of King of the Ring was that it just didn't matter. Like after a while, like a dude just got the King gimmick. This year, they have an opportunity to reverse that, and what I would hope for, and I want to very much stress this: the winner should not get a fucking King gimmick. The King gimmick is silly, it's goofy. Gunther doesn't need to be walking around with a throne and a crown. The King of the Ring should just be seen as the guy who is the king of wrestling in WWE. And so, with that said, I'm glad Gunther's here because I think this is the bridge that he, as a wrestler, needs from the upper mid card to the main event scene. It's a good way to kind of pad time with him and kind of bridge that springtime period. And so, with that said, I'm excited that he's in the tournament, and
oh no.
we're gonna break down the other guys because Rob Gunther's in this tournament, but
Oh,
also in the tournament. I don't even know if this is a scoop, but I tweeted it, so fuck it. Drew's in the tournament, Sheamus is in the tournament, and Xavier Woods. So we have three guys who had maybe the greatest triple threat in WWE
wait,
history
wait.
last year.
Gunther's in the tournament, right? Gunther said he's in the tournament, right?
Yeah, I just said that.
Cody, Cody, don't run, Cody, don't run.
We got Gunther, Sheamus, Drew McIntyre, and the reigning defending King of the Ring from 3 years ago now at this point,
You barely
Xavier
escaped
Woods.
me in 2023. Don't forget, Cody. You barely escaped me in
We're off to a
2023.
good start with these names. Honestly, Rob.
Also, they just confirmed in final rule the FTC bans non-compete clauses for all workers. That means including, I think that means including people that are getting paid. So we'll see.
Interesting. I kind of hope this is a 16-person bracket.
Yes, absolutely.
Because why the fuck not? You know,
Braun should definitely be in
if you
there. He should just
if
lose
you
in
do
the semifinal.
if you do 16, you can do either the first round or the first 2 rounds on TV, and then do the final 2 on pay-per-view. Give me 16. Fuck it. You know what I mean? Hope because if it's 8, I feel like you're missing out on a lot of good wrestlers. So hopefully it's 16. But nevertheless, we have Gunther, Sheamus, Drew McIntyre, Xavier Woods. We have the 3 guys that have the best triple threat in WWE history and the reigning champion. So I'm excited. I'm actually very excited for the King of the Ring tournament. They brought it back last year. Vince McMahon wormed his way back into WWE and he canceled it. But yeah, in the comments here, Brian says Braun, Andrade, and Dragunov should be in. Yeah, we'll see. We'll see. I'd like Ilya Dragunov to be a part of this. I think. Oh man, that's the thing. WWE has, if they really want to, they can make this the best tournament in the company's history pretty easily, pretty fucking easily. So I think this is one of those things where we shouldn't worry about protection and people's booking and just let them fucking wrestle. So we shall see where it goes there. But this Gunther promo was interrupted by Xavier Woods. Xavier Woods came out and basically pointed out that he was the King of the Ring and all that type of stuff. Him and Kofi Kingston were just kind of being goofballs in front of Gunther. This was honestly kind of like grating, to be honest with you, as a promo. The New Day are lucky they're the New Day and they have cachet with the audience. Because this was irritating me personally, and clearly Gunther as well, because he said that all this shit was beneath him, and he ordered Kaiser and Vinci to take out the New Day. So we came back from commercial, and it was New Day versus Imperium. They had a back and forth match. It went 2 segments. Gunther was watching on the sidelines. The match was okay, and this kind of ended where Giovanni Vinci was pinned by the New Day. He ate the pin, and Gunther was very pissed off. He threw his chair. He walked right up to Kaiser, who was sitting on the announce table, and just gave him a really, really stern look. And then he left the stage area and went backstage. At that point, Kaiser walks into the ring. He's holding on to Vinci. He's hugging on him. He's rubbing on his bald head. He's telling him it's okay. He's comforting him. And it lingered so long, and there was so much tension that it was very clear he was about to turn on him. And then he did. So Kaiser turned on Vinci, beat the hell out of him. He did his run around the ring, drop kick. He drop kicked his head into the announce steps. The crowd chanted, "Holy shit!" A lot of security was coming in to hold him back and pull him away. And Vinci is now out of Imperium. And I don't really know what to say. I think that Vinci and Kaiser are a great team. I love Imperium as a unit. it's one of those things where if it ain't broke, don't fix it. And I don't think Imperium was broke. In fact, I thought Imperium had so much more to achieve as a full 3-person unit. So I'm pretty disappointed that they're doing this. I'm curious what the reasoning is. I'm curious if there's a plan to add a new member, and if they are adding a new member, who that person is going to be. Um, I'm also curious what becomes of Giovanni Vinci. I hope he's not, like, God forbid, knock on wood, I hope he's not getting released, right? But I wonder if they're sending him back down to NXT, Rob. I wonder if they're going to finish off what they wanted to do with him, because if you remember, he did the Veni Vidi Vici thing, and they started him up as a singles wrestler, and then after about like 4 weeks of that, he
It
is
was
when
a
the
he was a he was an Italian model that like rode fast cars and like wore Louis and fucking Gucci all the time. It was fire, nigga.
yeah. So he never really got to fully do the gimmick because, um, right,
Triple
like
H,
short.
Triple H seen him doing that shit. He say, yo,
Yeah,
bro.
what happened was, what really happened was just, Vince, when Vince was there, he called up Kaiser and Gunther. And when Triple H took over, he was like, why the fuck is Imperium a 2-person unit when it could be a 3? And so he just called up Giovanni Vinci and reunited them. But yeah, I wonder if that's the destination for Vinci. But as an angle, again, I thought it was a good angle. But I'm just curious what the direction is here. And I just want to make sure Vinci is okay. I just hope
Yo,
he's okay
if
and he gets to do something. I think NXT is the right move for him. And I guess we'll see what's next for Imperium. What did you think, Rob?
if I liked this match for what it was. I didn't expect Imperium to lose actually, and I did not expect them to kick out Giovanni Vinci. So this was crazy, like, and like this was fucking crazy in real time to see. I think that they are gonna finish what they were doing with Giovanni Vinci. I think it's gonna be made a singles act to probably go to like SmackDown or something.
Mm.
Um, but if we're looking at guys to put as a third person in Imperium, I don't think it should be Ilya Dragunov. Ilya Dragunov is really like the antithesis of what Imperium stands for and what it actually means.
Mm.
Um, I think it should, bro. If we're looking for Alexander Wolf didn't look too bad during he didn't look bad at all during Mania weekend. So, and I like Alexander Wolf. I was talking to Chris about that last night.
Mm.
Bro, but I like Alexander Wolf. So if they want to bring Alexander Wolf back to be a part of it, that's fine. If they want to bring up a totally different guy to be a part of it, that would be fine. But I don't know who you would pick. And I'm gonna say it publicly, bro. I'm not trying to see Timothy Thatcher grapple for 15 minutes on Raw. That
Oh
that would
my
look good.
God! Could you fucking
That would
imagine?
kill her. Yo, that would kill her, bro. I love Timothy Thatcher, but that would kill her rating, bro. Come on, you can't be doing
Could
that.
you? Could you imagine?
You can't be doing that, bro. Like that's some freaky pervert shit that you can't do. And like that's some Danielson on Collision at 11:30. That he did it on Dynamite at 7:30. So no, we're not doing that. Bring back Alexander Wolf.
We'll see. We'll see what they end up doing. So that was that with the Imperium situation, and following this angle, we got an Andrade video package that was really good and really well edited. And basically, he said that he's targeting the Judgment Day, and he said he's not their fool or their servant, and now he's their biggest problem. We followed this with Drew McIntyre and Sheamus. This was a good segment. Drew McIntyre came out. He got CM Punk chants, and he sat cross-legged in the ring, and he asked the crowd why they insisted on chanting for CM Punk every time he came out. And he told them that CM Punk hated them, and the only person he hated more than the fans was himself. So that was pretty funny. But they were giving him what chants, and Drew said, "Say what if your friends kissed your cousins?" And some people still said what, and he was just like, "You guys are fucking freaks."
They
Drew
said
also,
what?
you didn't catch that?
No, I caught that they had niggas say what? Oh
Yeah,
no,
some
you
people still
niggas.
said what? Yeah. He was talking about
Oh,
complex relationships, because you're saying that wrestling is one of those things that, like, you love it, but it doesn't love you back sometimes.
Astaghfirullah.
And he told the fans, he said, "You guys don't understand complex relationships because the only one you have is the one with your right hand." So there you go. I'm all right. So yeah, he called CM Punk a coward and said that Priest could never beat him. Damian Priest could never beat him one-on-one. And McIntyre didn't get a title rematch like anyone else, like everyone else. He had to compete in a 4-way. And he said Punk got involved and Jey Uso took advantage like a coward. McIntyre wasn't going to complain and would instead come out swinging. His next prize was King of the Ring. So Drew McIntyre is now in the King of the Ring. Sheamus interrupted. Sheamus wondered what was going on with McIntyre. Sheamus said McIntyre wasn't taking responsibility for his own mistakes. And he said Drew got his moment at WrestleMania 40 in front of his family and he blew it. He blew it over some social media spat. He threw it all away for a meme and a t-shirt. Sheamus said that they were friends who had banger after banger after banger together. And as McIntyre's friend, Sheamus wanted him to know that a one-armed CM Punk kicked his ass. McIntyre told Sheamus, he's like, I hope you should know that better than anyone what Punk has done to him and did to him when he was younger. And Sheamus said that he was obsessed. Drew said that they may have had banger after banger after banger together, but it looks like now Sheamus has had burger after burger after burger. Sheamus laughed and responded, "I can lose the weight, but you can't lose stupid." McIntyre said the guys in the back were mocking Sheamus's weight during his match, but McIntyre stood for him. And Sheamus was like, "I don't care what they say." And Drew was like, "I do, because I'm your friend." He told him that the truth is, like, I'm your only friend here. That's what Drew is basically trying to make Sheamus feel guilty and say, like, bro, I'm the only guy in your corner, and like I'm looking out for you. McIntyre said that they've always been able to fight and then have pints afterwards. And he told him that he's past that now. He's only fighting if it's worthwhile, and this isn't worthwhile. McIntyre said he's still Sheamus's friend, and he's going to remain ringside to watch his back. So McIntyre sat, he kind of sat ringside to just kind of watch Sheamus while he fought Shinsuke Nakamura. And I thought this was a good segment. So, this followed with Shinsuke Nakamura coming out and they had a 2-segment match, and it was a pretty decent match. Sheamus is always awesome. He's just physical, and he just kind of beat up Nakamura and ultimately won with a bro kick. But what did you think of the plot development here with Drew and Sheamus, Rob?
I like this promo segment with Drew and Sheamus. I felt like it felt like two real life friends talking to each other.
Yeah.
Basically, and it didn't feel like no hokey bullshit where they were like, yo, like they were like sucking each other's dick or whatever, bro. They were like, yo, bro, I like you need to step it up and you need to get out of this social media bubble that you're in, bro, because you're fucking up and you're losing all the fucking time. The CM Punk shit is getting in your head, and he's like, bro, like I don't CM Punk maybe getting in my head, bro, but what's getting in your fucking stomach, nigga? Pause. Like, what the fuck? What have you been eating? And he's like, yo, bro, I can lose the weight, but you're like dumb as shit. And like, so I like that dynamic of it where they were just talking like two friends having a real life conversation in the middle of the ring. I like that they have the Sting Luger dynamic kind of where one of them could be heel, one of them could be babyface, but they don't really like hate each other type shit. Like they just they just have normal conversations and they fight it out like friends. So that was interesting to see. And then we had Sheamus versus Shinsuke right after this.
Yeah.
And that match was Sheamus versus Shinsuke was fine. It wasn't any good. It wasn't great, but it wasn't like bad or mid. It was just like they had a fine match. They had good near falls, which was very surprising with what Shinsuke Nakamura and what's left of what Shinsuke Nakamura could do in 2024. I liked the giving him an avalanche air red crash and a kick out was kind of crazy though. But needless to say, I did enjoy the match for what it was. What did you think about this match?
Yeah, I already said, if you were paying attention, I said it was a pretty solid match. Sheamus is physical. He's always good. His matches are always pretty good, and he just kind of beat up Nakamura, and so it's kind of
Okay,
hard to really complain about that.
With this, right? We have 4 or 5 people already announced at the King of the Ring. Who do you think would be a couple more people from Raw to be in the King of the Ring?
Again,
And who do you think
it
makes the
depends.
semis?
It depends on what the like how big the bracket is. If this is an 8-person bracket, then my final choices are Ilya Dragunov.
I don't feel like it's gonna be 8-person. I feel like Triple H is gonna do some freak shit.
I don't know. You never know. Let's just say it's 8, right? Let's say it's 8. Then I'm doing. I'm doing. Let's go with Ricochet, Ilya Dragunov. I'd like Andrade as the 7th person, but then I got to think about SmackDown and who would be on SmackDown. And so you'd have to put in like a God. You have to put Kevin Owens. You have to put someone like that. You got to throw in a Bobby Lashley. It's tough. It's tough. If this is 16, I could get you a whole list. If this is 16, we got 4, right? So just count this for me. We got 4 people. Let's throw in Ilya Dragunov. That's 5.
Yeah.
Let's throw in Kevin Owens,
Mm-hmm.
Ricochet. That's what 7, right? Andrade, that's 8.
I could see, yeah, it'll probably be 16 because I could see 8 and 8 from both shows.
I'd like that. I would like that.
Yeah, I could see 8 and 8 from both shows. Now the question is, do you cut all the other fat off in like the title matches and shit, and just do King of the Ring one pay-per-view?
Well, no, here's the thing, Rob.
People.
If it's 16 teams, you have to start that on TV. Like, let's not.
Yeah, like
not be
I know that, but I'm saying like they could pretty much since they have pretty much no restrictions right now. They could pretty much do what they want with it. And so I'm just thinking of different scenarios that they could do.
Yeah, to me, again, 16 teams. I started on TV. I do the final 2. I do the semis and the finals on pay-per-view is what I would do. And so the pay-per-view card, right? It'd be the men's semis, women's semis, men's finals, women's finals. That's 4 matches, right? And then you could do a world title match on the show. So you could do like Cody Rhodes versus whoever the fuck you want Cody Rhodes to face on that pay-per-view. Give me somebody, Rob. Throw me somebody. Fucking I don't even know.
Damn, like there's just so many fucking people. That's why I kind of wish Grimes wasn't cut, bro. Because he would him in like a 10-minute first round match would be pretty fire.
Mm-hmm. But yeah, for the pay-per-view, like I do the semis and I do the finals, and I do a Cody title defense. That's 5 matches. I do
put Bobby in there. You can put Bobby in there. I would love to see.
I would do a women's title match, and that's 6 matches. A tag title match, 7 matches, and you have a pay-per-view. Boom. So that's what I would do. So
do Dom versus Cody. No, I don't think champions should be in the tournament. I don't think that should take place. That should. Somebody said do Dom versus Cody or something in King of the Ring. No,
not in, Rob. You're not listening. Pay attention. Cody Rhodes isn't going to be in the King of the Ring tournament. He's a champion.
No, they said do Dom versus Cody, and I'm saying in general, that should be a match at the show.
Oh yeah, I wouldn't do it like overall.
Yeah, I'm not talking about what you're talking about. I'm talking about in general.
Yeah, and then as for the Queen of the Ring, it's like who would really benefit from this? And to me, I'd structure this around EO personally.
Yeah,
I think Tiffany Stratton feels like a Money in the Bank type of person. That's just
me. Tiffany Stratton. It should be baby faces or heels should be winning the Money in the Bank. Really, unless it's like a really over baby face that everybody's into. That then you give like last year should have been LA Knight. I don't think it should have been Damian Priest, but this year, Queen of the Ring.
I'm building the tournament around Bianca Belair and Io Sky.
Yes, those should be the 2 finalists.
Who else do I put in the tournament? You could always throw in a Zoe Stark. You could throw in a Shayna. You could throw in a Nia.
You can throw in Dakota Kai if you want.
Sure.
First round.
You want to throw in Asuka? Go for it. Yeah. I wonder if here's the tough thing. Do you throw Jade Cargill in there when she's in the heavy protection, or do you write her off with an angle or something? You're gonna have to figure out what they do there.
Jade Cargill needs to show me more than like 4 moves in a driver. Not even moves.
I get that, but it's like, what's the kayfabe justification for her not being in the tournament? They're gonna have to come up with one. I
mean, she can be in the tournament. Should she win or be like semifinals or final? No, but she should be in the tournament. Definitely should be in the tournament.
We'll see. We shall see. So that was that, and let's go to what was next on this show, because we already covered the Sheamus and Nakamura deal. Could open my notes.
If there's not a backstage, because they don't have photos for backstage segments, I think it was Chad Gable.
Right here. So Sami Zayn, he was interviewed. He was interviewed. They played the video package of Sami Zayn's great match with Chad Gable last week and the ensuing attack after the match. And Kathy asked Sammy about it, and Sammy said he was angry and hurt and that he had a lot to say, but he's going to bite his tongue because he wanted to hear what Chad Gable had to say tonight because he didn't know how Chad could defend his actions. Bronson Reed approached Sami Zayn and said, "You have bigger problems." And Zayn told him he could fight anytime and any place. And Reed left, and Kelly was about to continue the interview, but Reed suddenly just decked Sami Zayn, starts beating his ass, and officials pulled Bronson Reed away, but Reed crushes Sami Zayn into some equipment boxes. So Reed said he would be the next IC champion. Personally, right, I think they should do this on one of the draft TVs, and the reason I say this is because I would prefer Chad Gable and Sammy, their rematch being on France, because I just think that setting would be great, and I think that would. And I also think the Backlash pay-per-view as a whole needs another great match. Like I think we can safely assume that Cody and Styles is going to be great. We need another one. So I think Chad Gable versus Sami Zayn 2 in France would be the match that show needs. Whereas Bronson Reed, Sami Zayn is just kind of be like, okay. So I hope that one is done on TV so that we can get right back to Chad and Sammy on Backlash. So that's my opinion on that. But we followed this, Rob, with Chad Gable finally explaining himself.
Yeah.
And basically, he was in there with Maxine Dupree, Otis, and Chad. They were in their colorful outfits. Chad was in his suit. And Gable said that what he did to Sammy was justified. And he said Zayn winning in Montreal wasn't enough for him. He rubbed it in his face. Zayn saw Chad weeping in the corner, and he placed his belt right in front of him. Gable said he was being the bigger man, and he raised his hand. And that wasn't enough for Zayn either, because Zayn had to walk over to his wife in the front row, celebrating, knowing Gable was standing right there. And he said Zayn knew that was his moment. And he said, Chad said that should have been him at WrestleMania celebrating with his daughter. And instead, he wasted his time training Zayn. And he's been wasting his time training a bunch of losers. And that's when the crowd was like, whoa, because who he's referring to are the people right behind him. And so there was a bunch of tension in the ring. And he walked up to Tozawa and he was just like, all you do is lose. And he told him like you're just a joke. You do your little dances and all you do is lose and stuff. And he was just shitting on him for that. He walks up to Maxine. He's like, "Oh, Maxine, pretty as a princess," and said that you're dumb as a box of rocks. And he said, "I don't know what I had to do for you because I've been getting nothing in return." And he called her a pathetic wrestler. He walked over to Otis, and the crowd starts chanting for Otis. And he said, "You are the biggest disappointment of them all." And he said, "This is why you guys signed up for the academy." And he said, "You're getting honest feedback, and you couldn't get mad at me for it." And he said, "They were now going to focus on him, and they're all going to." He said, "We're all going to win my Intercontinental title together." He said, "No matter what," the crowd is chanting, "No." Gable said, "I want to hear them say it, no matter what." And he walked up to Otis, put the mic. Otis hesitated, but he ultimately looks down and he says, "No matter what." And so Gable was pleased and he left on his own. And it looks like, at least for now, that the Alpha Academy will be going along with Chad Gable for now. So there you go. You got the hesitancy for Otis, but he's on board. And that's that. What is going on with Otis's hand in this picture?
I don't know.
What the fuck is this?
I have no idea, brother.
Why is his arm black?
Because of the shadow, brother.
Looks fucking weird. Anyway, I like this. I want to see where it goes next because I don't see long-term Maxine being a part of heel Chad Gable's group, so I feel like she's going to get kicked out. And I wonder what happens with Otis and Tozawa because we already know that the Creed brothers are on the horizon as Chad Gable's as Chad's backup. So I'm curious, but I thought this was a good start, and yeah, I thought it was a good start. What did you think of this, Rob?
I liked this. I like that they're basically doing the dynamic of the coach being hard on the players type shit, where it's like he's like, yeah, he's like, I remember because what he said was he was like, yo, I don't know why people are so upset. I'm the coach. I'm supposed to give you honest feedback as your coach, right? So I like that part of it. I really am interested to see what they do with Tozawa and Otis, because Otis really doesn't look like he's into it and he's down with what was going on. But Tozawa tweeted last week after the fact, he was like, "Yo, bro, I'm trying to be on what you on. Whatever you got going on, I'm trying to be a part of that." So it could be interesting. They could probably, if they want to. I don't think they should kick these two out because I don't know if they have anything planned for Otis. But I think it should be an Alpha Academy, or if they want to do Team Gable, it should be a Team Gable A team and a Team Gable B team. But the way
I would
you
like
should,
that. I would
the,
like it.
yes, like the way you build it up though at first is you have Tozawa and Otis win some matches. You can't have them losing all the time because that negates what Chad Gable said, which is he
Mhm.
doesn't want losers. So
Mm. Mm. Yeah. Listen, if this is a vehicle to make Tozawa a serious wrestler and Otis a serious wrestler, and they're the B tag team to the Creed Brothers A tag team in a big stable, I'm all for it. But it's going to take some creative dedication and consistency. So if they can establish that, I mean, that then Chad will be all the better for it. So hopefully. Uh, Backstage, Dominic approached Ricochet, and Ricochet was upset that Dom wasn't clear because he wanted to whip his ass. Ricochet called JD McDonough a bobblehead, and he plugged his match on speed with JD McDonough. Ricochet walked out, and Liv Morgan approached Dominic, and the segment ended before either of them spoke. Nia Jax cut a quick promo stating her intention to win the women's championship. And then we got Ricochet and Andrade versus Santos Escobar and JD McDonough. 11 minutes back and forth match. This struggled for heat. The crowd is more focused on trolling Dominic and his mustache. Andrade looked really good here. Everybody else is pretty just fine. And it ended when God, what was the fucking finish here? Let's see if I could get it up. I barely remember. Um, Escobar brought Ricochet off the top rope with a Hurricane Rana, but Ricochet flipped over onto a leg drop on JD. Andrade wiped out Escobar with a back elbow, and he gave McDonough his finisher for the win, which was called the Shadow here, which Shadow means La Sombra. So there you go. He gave the finisher to JD. Priest attacked Andrade and Ricochet from behind after the match. He gave Ricochet a razor's edge, and then he planted Andrade with a choke slam. And then Priest told Dominic and JD that he doesn't need them; they need him. So there is some tension within the Judgment Day, and Priest turned his attention to Andrade and Ricochet. Andrade versus Priest is a match I could see being happening on pay per view, and I wouldn't mind that one. Even Ricochet, to be completely honest with you, Rob, I think both of those matches are going to be like way better than Priest versus Jey Uso. To be
yes,
completely frank,
yeah.
uh, so we'll see when they end up doing those, but. The match is okay, and all of this is just largely okay. I don't know if you have any opinions on any of this.
I liked what was going on here. I didn't really have a problem with any of it. I'm not that up on Santos right now.
Yeah,
All the other three guys in the match though, I like them as professional wrestlers.
yeah,
And those matches are definitely going to be better than Damian Priest and Jey Uso, because I don't expect Jey Uso and Damian Priest to be put together the right way. So it is what it is.
right. So we followed this up with a Zoe Stark's video package, and then Jackie Redmond was talking to Candice LeRae and Indy Hartwell. And before we could really get into the interview, we had a loud off screen, like there's a bunch of commotion off screen, and the cameras cut over to Nia Jax and Liv Morgan fighting, and the officials were separating them. So Liv Morgan and Nia looks to be the next big program for those two women. Becky Lynch strolled by, and she took the mic from Redmond, and she marched through the back and cut a promo as she's made her way through the Gorilla. This is the trademark continuous shot that they do on every Raw now. And for this one, Becky walked over to Maxine Dupree, and she basically said, "This is your first," because Maxine is like all sad about Chad Gable like berating her, and Becky said, "This is going to be your first women's championship match. Go out there and show them why it shouldn't be your last." And then she walked past Maxine, and so she's just kind of cutting a promo and talking her shit, and basically declaring that she's going to win the women's championship. And so she comes out. She's making her entrance, and we go to commercial. When we come back from commercial, we got the advertisement for Raw, and it was night 2 of the draft. We're getting Logan Paul appearing on the show, And we're also getting a 6-man tag. It's Jey Uso, Ricochet, and Andrade versus Damian Priest, JD McDonough, and Finn Balor. This one should be better than last week because sure. Yeah, this one should be better than last week because it'll have more heat because Jey Uso's in it, and Finn Balor's just a very steady wrestler. So hopefully this one clicks better than the tag match this week, and I'd like to think it will. So that should be fun. But we got the Battle Royal. It was a 3-segment Battle Royal, 21 minutes, Women's Battle Royal. And the big highlights here, Maxine Dupree eliminated Candice LeRae and Indy Hartwell booted Dupree out. But Dupree, what? Indy Hartwell booted Dupree, but Dupree eliminated her moments later. Yes, there we go. Kaden and Katana were doing like tag team offense in the ring. Shayna Baszler and Zoe Stark got the better of them. Baszler dumped Chance into Carter's shoulders on the apron, and Stark super kicked him off the apron for the elimination. Nia Jax slammed Ivy Nile into the ring post, and Nile fell out for the elimination. Maxine stood up for her friend, so Jax shoved her down. Dupree hit Jax with a few kicks, and the crowd popped, but Jax quickly dumped her out. Yeah, at this point of the match, the crowd started like getting into Maxine because she was being like the underdog babyface, who was just trying her best, you know. And she did, and the crowd got into it a little bit, and then Nia took her out. Becky Lynch eliminated Piper Niven. She kicked her off the apron, but then Nia drags Lynch under the bottom rope and shoved her into the steel steps. Niven, what's it called? She hit a cannonball on Becky. She put her on the announce table, and Nia Jax was there, and they were just beating each other up and slamming each other onto Becky. Nia Jax choke slammed Niven onto Becky Lynch on the announce table. Jax then hoisted Niven on her shoulders and gave her a Samoan drop onto Lynch on the table. It still did not break. In the commercial break, Nia Jax power bombs Becky Lynch through the table. So Becky's been taken out. Chelsea Green got eliminated, but the referee didn't see it. So this led to like a comedy spot where like she's like, "Fuck it, I didn't get eliminated." She went back in the ring, and the fans got into that. There's some Chelsea Green chants. There's some Chelsea chants. But so she became the emotional core of this match at this point. Zoe Stark eliminated Chelsea Green and Shayna Baszler. Sorry, and Shayna Baszler eliminated Natalya. Nia Jax eliminated Zoe Stark and Shayna moments later. That left Nia Jax, Liv Morgan, and Becky Lynch, who crawled back into the ring. Liv Morgan gave Nia Jax a code breaker, and Lynch brought Morgan down with the neck breaker. Nia Jax hit both women with Samoan drops. Nia Jax tried to eliminate Morgan and Lynch at the same time, but they fought her off together. They tried a double suplex, but Jax suplexed them both instead. Jax set up an annihilator on Becky Lynch. Becky shoved her over the top rope. Jax tried to get back in, but Morgan hit a code breaker and Lynch hit a drop kick, knocking Nia Jax out the ring for the elimination. And this led to Liv Morgan and Becky Lynch as the final two in the Battle Royal. And at this point, things did get pretty dramatic. At this point, I was also worried that terrorism would prevail. But they went back and forth, and the bottom line was they ended up in the apron, and Liv tried a couple moves on Becky, didn't work, and Becky got her with the manhandle slam, and Becky won the match. So Becky's the women's champion. As I said earlier, it's the stable hand, it's the steady hand, it's the one established star that you can rely on. So to me, this was the only choice you could make, given that these were your options on this pretty fucking dire Raw Women's division from that standpoint. So I have no complaints about Becky.
Niggas was really looking at that bitch like, yo, who is gonna win this? If
Yeah,
not Becky.
bro. When I didn't know that Becky was coming back, I was like, bro, this is fucked. But thank God Becky's back. Thank God Becky's the champion. The right person won, in my opinion. And as a battle royal, I mean, it's just a battle royal. You know, these things kind of suck until like the last few minutes, and then you get like the final few people, because then you have some space to work with. Then you get some drama, you know, and then it's like kind of thrilling to see who's going to win it. But until then, it was just kind of stuff. But Becky Lynch gets the win, and I'm happy for it. What did you think of this, Rob?
I really enjoyed this battle royal for what it was. I like that they established certain people and they didn't really look to establish others. I like that they got a comedy spot in for Chelsea Green so that she could keep getting her shit over. I thought the ending stretch. I like the part where Nia Jax started to try to kill Becky Lynch with Piper Niven, and then just picked her up and put her through the table after the fact. Anyway, the Becky Nia and Becky, Nia, and Rhea. Becky, Nia, and Liv stretch was really good. And the ending spot with Liv and Becky should have been. I don't think it should have been a manhandle slam on the apron. I think they should have done something different. Because how the fuck does Becky Lynch? It was a weird spot. Because how does she hit the manhandle slam without jumping off the apron from that position? Anyway, but needless to say, I really enjoyed the battle royal, and Becky Lynch, the ace, you see it on the screen, is the women's champion.
Yes, she is. Becky Lynch is the women's champion, and that was the end of kind of a weird episode of Monday Night Raw. One of those shows where it looks like they're just trying to get chips in order in ahead of the draft. A lot of kind of weird angles that kind of suggest that they might like break up some teams or separate certain people, and it felt like they had to arbitrarily set things in motion before the draft to justify it. So I think a lot more things will make sense when we see where people are being positioned in terms of the shows. And so I'm looking forward to this week's SmackDown. Uh, I'm looking forward to seeing Jacob Fatu. I'm looking forward to seeing CM Punk. I'm looking forward to Cody and AJ Styles having an interaction. And I guess we shall see where the chips fall down. So with that said, let's go to our last batch of super chats before we call it a show.
All right, the last bit of super chats before we end the show. Let's see. Karamir Chandani, 100 rupees. If they were friends, why didn't that factor into Jey Uso and Priest dynamic during the War Games build?
I agree. That's why it's kind of like um, out of left field.
Bro, they always established bloodline and Judgment Day interactions. That's why this shit doesn't make any sense. Because they always established bloodline and the fucking Judgment Day interactions. They always establish that shit is just business, never personal. So why all of a sudden is this shit some type of personal shit when we literally watched these two
It's
try
one of
to
those
kill each other
situations
in a
where
cage?
they were using a real life situation, like them hanging out in real life, but it contradicts the kayfabe, which is a problem.
Yeah, which is like that's why I don't like when they do shit like this, is because if we would have seen that type of relationship between the Bloodline and Judgment Day, that's one thing. But it was always established as a just business, never personal relationship. So
Yep.
that's why that was weird. Thank you for the super chat. Assassin 11 and 199. How long is Rollins out for?
About 2 months.
Yeah, like bro, his fucking bro, wouldn't be surprised if it's probably fucking longer, bro. His fucking knee looked like it was about to fall off.
Yeah, they told me 2 months.
Yeah, bro, like yeah, come on. Thank you for the super chat, Matt Hennessy, 599 euros. Do you think DIY go heel and get more of a serious edge? Do you, thoughts on Finn signing a new WWE deal?
I think Finn staying is the right move for him. He has a very comfortable role in the company. DIY, they might be going heel. My thing is just I don't know if I needed heel DIY, to be honest with you. Like I don't.
Bro, why would you do heel
I
DIY
just
going?
I don't get it. I don't. I
Why
personally don't
why
get
would
it.
you do heel DIY when they're going to SummerSlam in Cleveland at SummerSlam in
That
August?
that doesn't mean much to me, to be honest with you. But um, yeah, heel DIY to me just feels kind of like unneeded. You know, one of those things that they be doing it just to do it, and their in-ring style isn't a heel style. I know they started a heel DIY union in NXT, and then they never got to do it because of the injury. Like there was an injury to, I want to say, Ciampa, so they had to turn Johnny Gargano back babyface. But yeah, I don't need that. They might be doing it, but I don't need that. They're either doing that or Ciampa's turning on Johnny a fucking again.
Ah!
That would be crazy. Dude,
Ah!
Triple H is going to get made fun of if he does that, and he's going to probably deserve it.
Alrighty, thank you for the super chat, Matt Hennessy. Another 599 euros. I get releasing Wagner, Quinn. I don't agree. Get releasing Wagner. Quinn, Lee, Jinder, and Indashir. They were all green and were with the company for a long time. It didn't improve. But why Grimes? I
Yeah.
thought I thought Von Wagner was making a little bit of an improvement. And
He
I
he
think,
he was, but even still, he had no main roster
yeah,
upside, in
like
my
he had
opinion.
no main roster upside. But I
Yeah,
think that he should have been sent along with Charlie Dempsey to All Japan.
they could have done that. They definitely could have done that. He's gonna have to now try to find his way into those spaces, but on his own. Um,
Yes.
but yeah, yeah. Grimes is the first one of the releases that's like actively like really, really talented, and like you could have done something with him. So it's why his release is the one that's just kind of like that one. Like you guys just fucked up. So yeah.
Thank you for the super chat, Matt Hennessy. Josh Friesen, $2 Canadian. Imperium couldn't pretend to like each other anymore.
Mm-hmm.
Thank you for the super chat, Josh. Thank you for the
Mm-hmm.
super chat. Hush 199. Queen of the Ring feels like it's Jade's to win. No.
To be honest, Rob, fuck it, fuck
No.
it. Why not? Why not? What if they use it as a as an in-ring showcase for Jade Cargill? What if she actually tries to have serious matches in this thing?
Why does Jay Cargill deserve to win this more than like a E? I mean, Io Sky just had the belt for like a half a year, but like,
Rob, stop. Wrestling's
why,
not a meritocracy. It's a star-making
brother?
business.
She just got brother. She's been
It's a
there 6 months
star-making
and she just
business.
started wrestling.
Who gives a shit? Listen, I love Io. I would not mind her winning. I'd like her to win the tournament. But I'm just saying, let's say the WWE has a vision and a goal here, right? And they're saying what we're setting out to do right now is to cement Jade as a star, and we're going to prove that she can wrestle a little bit. And she has competitive matches, and they use this
Okay,
as a
so what
vehicle
if what
for
it
stuff.
okay, but like what if you're saying this and this happens, but like it isn't an in-ring showcase and it's the complete opposite.
You're saying like, what if she just squashes everybody?
Yeah, what if she not squashes everybody, but like what if the in like not even the in-ring presence. I mean, yeah, the in-ring presence because King of the Ring was built off of the in-ring presence of what it meant. So what if like she just doesn't do well in ring the entire time and you still let her win? What kind of example does that
I
set?
mean, look, as a company, listen, bro. She's a big free agent splash. You have to justify what you paid her. You have to give it a go. You have to try to make her a superstar. So the company attempting that is that's them doing their job. Now, if it doesn't work out, then it doesn't work out. But them trying, I'm not gonna fault them for trying that. You have to shit or get off the pot at some point with Jade Cargill. So if they choose Queen of the Ring as the time to do that, then cool. We'll see how it turns
Um,
out. We will see how it turns out.
maybe. Maybe we'll see. Hush 199. I mean, no, Hush. Thank you for the super chat. Sorry, Black Yakuzu 94, $5. If Gunther wins King of the Ring, I wouldn't mind him beating Cody in Berlin, especially if the Bloodline screws him.
That would be awesome. Cody versus Gunther in Berlin, where Gunther wins the title, would be amazing.
Yo, that shit,
That would be special.
that shit would be
And then, and
crazy.
then Cody, like you know what I wouldn't mind? Cody loses in Berlin. He makes his way back to fight Gunther at like a Survivor Series to win it back, and then he'll have it back again in time to fight Rock at Mania or whatever the fuck they do. So I'm
We'll
with it.
see. We'll see. We'll see. We'll see. We'll see. Thank you for the super chat, Jumanji Hunter, $2. Worried about Vinci. Tiff should win at Backlash.
Yo, if
Um,
Tiff does just straight up win the title, I mean, would you complain? I
no,
guess.
like no,
Yeah, I
bro.
like I wouldn't complain. I don't think she is, but I would not complain.
I don't think it's gonna be her. I think it's probably if they do something, it might be Naomi, but we'll see.
I think they've recovered. It's kind of gone under the radar. I think they've recovered with Naomi in the sense of like when she first came in, people kind of saying like, "Yo, what's going on?" They're kind of like treating her like she's like a schmuck a little bit, and they've quietly in recent weeks kind of like really like buckled in on like treating her like she matters. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
Uh, so it's just something I've noticed. So it's good that that's happening.
because they're never gonna be able to. Even regardless of whatever vendetta they may or may not hold from what happened 2 years ago, they're still gonna have to push her because she's part of the Fatu family technically, the NOI family technically. So they're gonna have to like you can't just push her down the well because you're still upset about some bullshit. So Thank you for the super chat, Jumanji Hunter. Hush 199. Who in Imperium hate each other?
Who knows?
Yeah, who knows? It's very, very unfortunate situation. But shout out Imperium. Don't know what they're gonna do next.
Mm-hmm.
All right, and I think that's all the super chats.
Awesome. Yeah. So, folks, we'll see you next time. The next time we'll talk, the draft will be completely in the books, and we'll be able to evaluate where both brands stand. We'll talk about which brand won the draft and all that.
Andy, 100 rupees. I've been a Raw fan over the last year, but it doesn't look promising. Sans Cody, the soul of the show. What are Punk Drew's feud of the year chances?
Listen, it could be really special. It could be really special. We'll see. And as for the Raw, yeah, I share all of your concerns. It's one of those shows that at its best it was really clicking, but it clicked because the great wrestlers got to wrestle, and you had Cody Rhodes and other big stars at the top segments. And I'll tell you what, I even miss Seth Rollins a little bit. It is what I know. It's not a popular take, but his absence is noticed, just as Cody Rhodes' absence is noticed, just as Rhea Ripley's absence is noticed. So they're going to have to rebuild, and we'll see what they do in the draft. But with that said, folks, this is the Raw review. Russell Pierce. If you haven't already, please like the video, subscribe if you have not, and leave a comment. But tonight there will be Dumb Guy Live. I think there's a Dumb Guy Live tonight, and they'll be talking about the latest happenings in Japanese wrestling. For Rob, I'm Ibu of Russell Pierce, and we'll see you guys next week.